Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
Okay, so this is the freakiest thing that happened to me last night. This is the door closing by itself. Dad, there's obviously something in that house.
Please, that's enough.
There's something really messed up. Oh my God. Niño milagroso le tengo un pato.
Paranormal Activity 2, rated R. To see it first, demand it at paranormalmovie.com.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
You can all go fuck yourselves.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that fucking thing sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. There you are.
Hi. What?
Did you hear any of that? No.
I could vaguely, like, it's like somebody yelling at the other end of the house. I could hear it just tad. Enough that I heard my cue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to Moviesucktastic, the YouTube version.
Yeah, we are live on YouTube now.
Oh, and, and the gate's open.
I created an event and everything.
Oh, this is an event now.
It's an event.
I should have worn my nice t-shirt.
I'm having that problem again about just my taskbar at the bottom showing. What is up with that? I don't
know. You got to fix that, dude. Come on, get with the program.
I'm trying to fix it. Yeah, I'm doing all kinds of. No one needs. It's when I put you on the screen. That's the problem.
I'm just all sorts of sources of trouble.
Yeah, it's when I put it. All right, I don't know how to magnify this little.
Do I sound any different now?
You sound fine.
I'm playing with my mic. That's all. I can't stop touching it.
That's what she said.
Just give me 30 seconds. Welcome, everyone, to Moviesucktastic, the podcast where we review movies that we feel like, and they're usually bad, sometimes not. Who's to say? We are. That's why we're doing the show. I'm Scott, and the calm one is Joey.
That's me.
And tonight we are reviewing, we're going back a bit and doing Paranormal Activity 2, mainly because I'm pissed at Joey that he hasn't watched any of these yet.
Wow, how is that my fault?
I feel like I've suffered through certain franchises like this and Twilight that you haven't.
Because that's your fault, not my fault.
How is it my fault that you have not watched these films?
You sought out to watch those pieces of shit.
For the show.
But we never reviewed it.
Yes, we did. That's what I was trying to do, like personal man on the street reviews, and not really pulling it off because that's just not who I am. But I was for the show, successful or not. It was for the show.
Listen, man on the street, whatever you wanted to do, that was your decision, not mine.
Yeah, doesn't mean that I still can't hate you for it. So
hate me all you want.
So hey, you're getting off lightly because this is not by far close to the worst of the series.
Oh no, no. I mean, this movie has lots of problems, but nowhere near it. And my challenge, it's not even like a real challenge. It's gonna be one of those films that I don't know. It's well, when we get to it, but.
All right. And this was a challenge to you based off of last week's episode where we reviewed My Little Eye, the 2002 Big Brother wannabe post-Blair Witch found footage, locked in a house, boring kind of film.
Yeah.
That's as small as my thumbnail gets on that one.
Yeah, and although we had lots of problems with it, at least I congratulated it a little bit for kind of being ahead of its time for the period that it came out in.
Again, like this film, in the genre of found footage, by far not the worst. It's just nothing impressive or new.
The problem with this movie, the biggest problem that I had, and we're talking
Paranormal Activity 2 now.
2, yeah.
Okay.
Not that I'm saying that the first Paranormal Activity was a great film, because it wasn't.
But it was in a way, just like Blair Witch kind of revitalized I wouldn't say created, but dragged the found footage genre into the zeitgeist. Paranormal Activity really found a new audience for it.
Yeah.
Even while the culture was already rebelling, and that's what the culture always does. Something becomes very popular, and immediately the culture folds in on itself, trying to discredit the thing that became popular. Because the one thing that society can't handle is things that society likes.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why.
Nearly 10 years later, Paranormal Activity comes out after Blair Witch. And you're right. The found footage... even Blair Witch 2 wasn't found footage. It was a real movie, which turned out to be a real shitty movie.
Right. And there's a comparison I wanted to make to that later, so I'm glad you brought that up.
But nearly 10 years later, when Paranormal Activity... the first one came out, you're right. It absolutely revitalized the found footage genre. And ever since Paranormal Activity, they've been pushing them out at least 1 or 2 a year. And I'm talking theatrical 1 or 2 a year. They've kind of reinvented itself again with Unfriended, because that brings it into this generation.
A new realm of technology.
Exactly.
Well, that's one thing we're going to touch on in Paranormal Activity 2 is some of the absurdities of the found footage genre that later technology eliminates.
Yeah.
And you probably know where I'm going with that when we get to it. But if you look at that 10-year gap, the one thing that Paranormal Activity did was it took the whole idea of the found footage and it introduced to it more widely acceptable tropes, such as the haunted house, the jump scare special in the low budget special effect jump scares. It brought that in there. I mean, Blair Witch was really much more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, it really was, just because of the mental and the mental torture mostly that they endured during that whole film.
Which after the hype of the film died down and there was a bit of distance, a lot of people looked back at it and described that as boredom. But it wasn't perceived that way when people were in the theater watching it. There was really a tension because it was you weren't used to this kind of film in mainstream cinema.
Right. And I can't even call it lore. It's according to the directors and the actors, it's what happened. The 3 actors from the original Blair Witch film were thrown in the woods, loosely given a script, gave them cameras, for when they filmed their own stuff. And the directors essentially just threw shit at them. It's like
they didn't know what was going to happen.
Knew nothing about what was going to happen. One of the actors who ends up disappearing, they take that actor, and now he's not in the film anymore, and the directors and him, they set up stuff, and part of the plot is moving because of that. The other two actors are like, where the hell is this guy? They didn't know he was going to not be there anymore.
Right, and it still boggles my mind that, considering the fact that the production itself played like a reality show, that they never successfully created a reality show around Blair Witch, which would have been the easiest thing to do. I mean, if you look at how they did the movie, how they directed the film, it was a reality game show. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to stay in character. You got to try to figure out certain puzzles. Holy shit! It's like I'm watching fucking Alone, except it's got Jason in the background.
Yeah, the closest they ever got to anything like that are all these paranormal,
there was one show,
TV shows.
There was one show. I remember watching the first 2 episodes. I forget the name.
Okay.
But they were in this kind of a Twin Peaks type town.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and like they had this weird cult that like one night they're like, hey, what's that? And outside there's people sweeping in the middle of the street. It was like a broom cult. And they were trying to do this kind of, instead of going Blair Witch, they went Twin Peaks, which was stupid because Twin Peaks had been dead for a decade or so already to begin with.
Right. Okay.
And I remember tuning out after the first episode because it just turned into like a voting bullshit. And then like like this one guy that wasn't a dick ended up being eliminated because he got voted out over some bitch. And I was like, oh, this is fucking Survivor all over again. I'm done. It had so much potential, and no, I've never heard of the show since then. So obviously it died miserably.
Yeah, it probably, if it lasted the whole season.
I don't think I only saw the first episode. For all I know, they never finished the season. I have sometime I'll have to figure out the name of that and go back and watch the whole thing. But again, I mean, Blair Witch was groundbreaking in a lot of ways. Paranormal Activity in its own right. I don't know if it broke ground as much as just a breathed new life.
Yeah.
It reanimated.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Me and Jose are doing great.
Okay,
great.
Good. Jose,
it reanimated this genre and gave it a new breath that wasn't as easily beaten down. People still shit on the series. Hell, I shit on the Paranormal Activity series, please. But that first one really, and I saw it opening weekend. I did a Man on the Street review.
Second one.
No, the first one. I saw the first one. I'm saying in the theater, opening night.
I was able to get my hands on a work print. And the work print was like, because I've seen the final cut and I've seen the work print, and the only difference between the two is the work print that I have has a different ending.
I have that too. They did release that as a kind of a director's cut, alternate ending thing. Yeah, I have that as well. That's the original ending before Hollywood, before like Spielberg came in and said, "Okay, let's clean this up a bit."
Yeah, they gave they gave it to Spielberg, and they did the jump scare ending. But before they did that, the original ending was way more realistic, and I thought better.
Yes and no.
I mean, it doesn't open it up for sequels,
which. Again,
Spielberg isn't stupid.
Right. Said, dude, you wrapped it up. What the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
Come here. Little 101 here on how to do a horror film.
Exactly. And although I liked the original ending better, I understand why Spielberg's like, listen, the movie's testing well, except for the ending. We're changing the fucking ending.
Right. And in that vein, I understand why they did what they did with the sequel, but I don't agree. Basically what happened is a lot of the stuff that was in the first film that I don't think was 100% intentional as far as a theme.
Well, the first film was just kind of slapped together. They had a loosely based plot, and they kind of went with it. It only cost $15,000. They shot it on a handy cam, and the movie sat on the shelf. I think the film. When did Paranormal Activity get released theatrically? Like 2009?
Hold on, I can look it up if you're going to put my feet to the fire here.
Yeah, please.
You keep talking.
Okay, so I think it came out in 2009, because this film came out in 2010.
2007. They rushed the shit. No, 2007. They had 3 years.
No. It was
the first film came out in 2007.
No, it did not come out in 2007. It was.
I'm looking at it. It says 2000. Oh, I know what you're saying. Theatrical release. Okay, hold on.
Filmed in 2007.
Keep talking.
All
I
right.
got you.
So the film was made in 2006, going into 2007.
October 2009.
Yeah, so
it came out. October 16th. It wasn't trying to go up against Saw at that point.
Right, but then when it was super successful, the second film did go up against Saw, and we talked about that on this show.
Right.
And I predicted that Paranormal Activity 2 was going to have the bigger weekend, and it did.
And the director of Saw 7 was supposed to direct Paranormal Activity 2, but they had him in a contract, so he wasn't able to direct it.
Ah, okay.
So there's a little bit of
so this film was
there.
made in 2006 into 2007, and it was just shelved for a couple of years. They didn't know what to do with it. The original. They had this concept of what they wanted. They had just kind of a piecemeal plot. And that's why the film looks the way it does. And to be honest, as put together as it is, I'm surprised by it, because they really just filmed a whole bunch of different things and hoped in the end they had a movie.
Well, I mean, but again, the first film, just the same way, in the same way that I appreciated Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity, a lot of what you had to appreciate was the fact that it was a low-budget film, or no-budget film practically. And so
the second one cost $3 million.
Right. So if you think of the setup for the first film, we don't have a budget. We have a limited cast. So it's going to take place in a house. So we're going to have to get a house that, either we have to rent or that somebody already owns. And we have to make sure it's big enough that we have different areas, because the whole film's going to be in this house. So that's how the setup is. And then, of course, we have the main couple, and we have to have conflict there. So all this is written around the concept of we have to do this on a minimal budget. So when the film is successful and they have to do a sequel, you have two ways you can go. You can say we can take this into a different direction, or we can make a carbon copy of the first film and play on all the strengths that we know sold well to the audience. They went with the easy route, and they did the second choice.
Right. Yeah.
Which I feel was the wrong choice in hindsight. Again, as far as like making money, yeah, right choice, proven good choice, because they made so much money on it and they ended up taking over Halloween from Saw. But here's where I'm getting with this. So what I first pointed out in the first film as ironically becoming themes of the film, like spousal abuse, male dominance over the female, what they ended up doing was doubling down on it in the sequel by copying everything.
The husband is such a cock.
Yeah. I rewatched this with Holly, and she's like, "Man, what a dick!" And I'm like, like they're doing that on purpose. By the way, let's just dial it down a bit, because you're purposely making him an asshole. It's the only way to further the plot. We get this, but so I mean,
because
so
Mika in the first film is a total cunt.
Right, but like a fun-loving cunt, and this guy was more of like just an annoying cunt. So here's what I'm getting at. What was originally just a consequence of the budget and planning for the first film, by copying the second film, it becomes a theme. So now what we have, and this is bore out through the rest of the series, with the exception of 3, which I think is the best episode of the entire season.
Oh, I haven't seen 3. I only saw the first one.
I think you'll agree with me.
Yeah?
And I won't get into why it's the best one, but this film sets up this theme where the theme of the Paranormal Activity becomes, first on the first end, you've got these, I guess you could, upper middle class, McMansion, nouveau riche, I guess you could call them rich trash.
Okay.
Now, I mean, if you think about it, like the one thing they have in common is they have big houses. They're poorly decorated. Through the whole film, Holly's like, "Really, wicker in the kitchen? What is this? Who's decorating this place?" Like, "Oh, really? He's got African art in his office." Okay, yeah. I mean, so it really points. They really hit this theme, because the first film you got the wiring, like the bare wiring on the walls.
I wouldn't be surprised if they rented somebody's house during the entire shoot and they worked with what they had.
Which would even be more ironic.
Yeah.
But so what happens? You have the theme isn't just demons terrorizing a couple or a family. It becomes, first of all, you've got this again, upper middle class, wannabe rich bigger house than they should have because they don't even know how to deal with it properly kind of situation. So automatically you kind of hate these people just on this level. Yeah. I mean, again, I'll be admit, the first thing I hate the thing about Mika is like, oh, day trader? Yeah, fuck you. All right, I want him to die.
And that goes back to when we talked about the film the first time, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that was before the sequel came out. Yeah. So it's like what that film inspired is like, okay, let's double down with it. And then so the husband's like this fast food king they kind of allude to. Like so he's so all his money's in fast food. So he's like a corporate shill, but it's lower end. It's like he's not like a stockbroker or anything. He's like, yeah, I'm like the king of burgers.
Yeah, no, he makes enough money to keep up appearances.
And he's probably fucking, in debt to the eyeballs. Mm. Again, no fucking taste, no class, just walking around in fucking sandals all day. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. All I'm like, yeah, he's wearing sandals again. You see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I thought.
You see that? I thought sandals again.
I thought the same thing.
The fuck? This guy doesn't own slippers? What the fuck? Walk barefoot, asshole. It's in your house.
Yeah, put a pair of shoes on, douche.
Yeah. We got the mother's at home all day, but we got a maid too. Right? Why? Because I don't know. Because she can't fucking cook. What the fuck? I mean, they purposely throw this stuff in there.
And she's my challenge is based on her.
Okay, so now the level of male dominance or spousal abuse or just male dominance over the secondary female figure, female oppression. That's all bored, just like the first film, except they doubled down on it. He's a bit more forceful. And then we throw in and then you had Mika rejecting religion in the first film, so we have to do that in this one. But let's not double down on Catholicism because our audience is wider now. So instead, he's rejecting like Hispanic voodoo or whatever the hell she's doing, Santeria. They don't address it, so I'm just honestly not being dismissive. Santeria. What'd I say?
No, I thought that was funny. The Santeria comment.
That's an actual thing, isn't it? Am I mispronouncing it?
Yeah, I think that was. I don't. The only reason I even know that term is because it's in a Sublime song.
I think it's in Dexter. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think in the Sublime song, it's the song goes something along the lines of practicing Santeria or some shit like that.
I'm not a theologian, but I play one on TV, so bear with me. So they have to throw that in where he rejects it, and then but then like the whole twist in the film is like, oh, when he finally accepts this, okay, now I accept it, but let's fuck somebody else over to save my ass. So you've got that kind of capitalist stab somebody else in the back to save your thing. Yeah, there's a whole like they really just double down on all this stuff. So the audience isn't really rooting for anybody. Yeah, no, it's true. And I think that was very important in the first film, that I don't think anybody was ever really truly rooting for the couple. They made them likable enough where you didn't hate them. And that's why they had to put the teenage daughter in this one, because they knew they were making the couple this is the sister of what's her name from the first film? There's
Katie. Yeah.
Katie, yeah. So
and they actually go not deep on how these two films are connected, but they do talk about it quite a bit.
I love because we're watching it and they have Mika there, and my wife says to me, she's like, yeah, so this is before, obviously this is before the first film, right? And like almost like a minute after she says it on the screen, 2 months later Mika would be found dead, or this is 2 months before Mika's found dead.
I have the screenshot.
Thank you for spelling that out.
I have the screenshot in the slideshow, but it says 60 days before Mika is murdered.
Yeah, I was like, just in case anybody's lost. It's not an alternate reality. Yeah. The first film happened. Bear with us. This isn't lost. Yeah. So
60 days later, he is murdered.
Yeah. I loved that. And and then Holly's like, so we got 2 months of this shit? I said, hold on. They're probably going to edit. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's because they keep going night 1, night 2, night 5, night 12. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Night 372. It's like, I think something's wrong.
Oh, and I love the opening of the film where it says Paramount would like to give its condolences and thanks to the family of the deceased. It's like, fuck you, Paramount.
Oh, well, they're laying it on thick. And let's be fair now.
What do they think? They're the Coen brothers with Fargo? This is based on a true story? Come on.
No.
I know they're not. I know that they're not claiming that, but the way because it's found footage. I get it.
No. Think about it though. The thing that one of the things that sold Blair Witch, because that was when the internet was still kind of new to the mainstream.
Oh yeah,
and
it was brand new.
I mean, I remember Gary.
Shit, we still had dial-up.
Gerard had emailed me. He was like, "Dude, have you seen this thing about these missing kids?" Like they were selling it before the film came out. They were selling it as a real thing.
Yep.
They were like one of the first ones to do kind of those underground grassroots campaigns. Was like, yeah, there's this thing out where these kids went missing and they found this film. And so like for the longest time after the film came out, there was confusion. People would say, oh, it's based on a true story. I said, no, it's not.
Yeah, there was no Snopes. There was no the Onion wasn't around yet. It just there was,
no Onion was around, but it was still in print form.
I'm talking about on the internet.
I'm just saying, Onion was around.
Okay.
I think they might have had some stuff accessible through the internet, but they were because I subscribed when they were in print form.
Oh, okay. But you're right. Nobody knew anything about it, and when we listen, being an experienced moviegoer, when you start watching the movie, there are certain red flags that an experienced moviegoer watches, and you're like, yeah, this is not real. This is bullshit.
And let's be fair. The Blair Witch site wasn't like an intricately laid hoax. It wasn't an intricately. Gerard had sent me the link, and like 5 minutes into it, I was like, "All right, yeah, this is not real. I don't know what they're doing here, but it's not real." And then eventually, they oh, there's a movie. Okay, yeah, all right. So I mean, again, if you're paying attention. Or if you're actually trying to think about it, but a lot of people just stumble into this stuff. I mean, this is not saying that anybody who thought it was real was stupid. It was just that, all you knew was, oh, there was an article, and now all of a sudden there's this film, and is it real?
Yeah, how did they say they said they accidentally unearthed like reels of film?
Yeah, like there was a wall that was built like 80 years ago, and like somebody and like a rock came loose and this stuff was underneath it.
Okay.
Like a backpack found the film in it.
Got it.
Yeah, so there was the whole time lapse thing there too. It was like, wow, this wall is so old, but this film is new, and again, it was intriguing. It made you want to know more.
Sure.
And so all I'm getting at is that when Paranormal Activity does it, I don't think they're trying to actually trick anybody. I think it's almost like an homage or a tip of the hat to Blair Witch, kind of say like, oh yeah, this is what they pulled. We're doing the same thing, but you get it. On an honest level, I think that's where they're coming from it. Because again, this, like you said, this is 10 years after Blair Witch. Blair Witch has set the foundation. Paranormal Activity is trying to take it over. You can't do that without at least acknowledging the foundation you're building on.
Do you remember when we watched Blair Witch 2?
Yeah.
We watched it at your place.
Yeah.
And we got the DVD, and I'm almost positive we got it from Netflix, because you and I were Netflix subscribers from the very beginning. You before me. As a matter of fact, I had come over your house, and you had just gotten home from work. You got your mail, and it just saw this really red package. I'm like, what the hell is that? And you're like, oh, you don't know about this? And I'm like, no, what is this? And then you told me about Netflix. It was really new when you had it. And I'm like, I need to do that. So you had gotten Blair Witch 2. My wife and I came over. We watched it at your place. And I remember we hated it. And then we watched the extras. And then it talked about all the hidden parts of the film where like a door would close and you'd see like the face of the Blair Witch or whatever, and you're like, these motherfuckers. No. We're like, oh wow, yeah, let's go check this out. So we went back and we're going through the film again, and about like the third scene, I was like, hold on a second, these motherfuckers just tricked us into watching this shitty film twice. Exactly.
I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, because we saw the extras. We're like, now we got to go back and watch this other shit and catch all these things. And I just remember you going, these fuckers just got us to watch this thing twice.
And it didn't dawn on me until like we're halfway through. It's just, it's still Blair Witch 2. There was the only good part of that entire movie. Fucking witch. That's it. It's like that one throwaway is like, dude, if you had taken this attitude on, we could have had fun.
Yeah, right.
No, you had to try.
I haven't revisited that film since I watched it at your place.
Same here.
Now I don't know if all of those extra things are still in the movie. I imagine they
Yeah,
are. I don't know if they've remastered it for Blu-ray or whatever, and they got rid of it because it was really lame. It was really bad. Like a door would close and you'd see a face for a split second.
I thought it was actually kind of ingenious. I wish, like, I wish it was something they had told you before the film started.
Oh, to look for that stuff?
Honestly, the one thing that might have made the film a bit more enjoyable is if before it started you had like a Rocky Horror Picture Show opening with the guy in the library. So these films were unearthed as you, like a Criswell character. As you go through, you may notice visions of the dead. You know.
Yeah, but the way they did these visions, they superimposed it, and it obviously was computer generated, and it just looked awful. It didn't look good.
I didn't think they looked that bad. I think if we will go back, I think they look better than you're. I think you're remembering it that way.
I think if we go back, it's gonna look worse than we thought.
All I'm saying is, even though it was a dick move on their part to trick us into watching the film twice. Yeah. It was probably the most inventive thing they did, and I wish they had like made it a major selling point of the film. So I'm going to backtrack for a second, and we haven't really talked about the plot of the sequel, but I want to point this out now so I don't belabor it later, since we brought up Blair Witch and Blair Witch 2. So I mentioned how the first film, Paranormal Activity, and then did a sequel, and they could have gone different route. They could have tried something different, but instead they doubled down on the same things. And it doesn't work. It made money, but if you go back, it's like, yeah, this is shit. Blair Witch is just the opposite. They did the first film and said, okay, let's do something different with the sequel. They did. It sucked balls. Then, a decade or two later, said, oh, let's do another sequel, and let's just do the exact same thing as the first film. And I thought it was a decent fucking film.
And I don't think it made any money.
It doesn't matter. It was good.
Yeah, well,
that's all I'm saying.
No, I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it yet, but I don't think it made any money because I think Blair Witch from that second film, and over time people have disliked the first film. It's kind of put a bad taste in people's mouths, and I think there was no interest for it.
Oh, rightfully so. And when I went into it, I was ready to hate it. I was like, oh, here we go. And I thought they did a really decent job of doing a direct sequel instead of a reboot, but still adding more to it, but keeping the same.
Was it found footage or was it just a movie?
It was still found footage too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, I think it's an interesting parallel that, not from a financial standpoint but from an artistic standpoint, Blair Witch strayed from the formula, tried to do something different, failed, and then only achieved the same kind of success, at least artistically, when they went back to the formula. Paranormal Activity, just the opposite. The only time they really succeed is when they stray a little bit from the formula, which I feel is part 3.
Oh, okay.
And even then, they don't stray enough from the formula to make too much of a difference.
And part 3, it's a direct sequel to these two films as well. Like Katie, there's
no, it's a prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel.
Part 4 is the first actual sequential sequel.
Okay.
This part 2 is kind of is a prequel that kind of ends at the end of the first film.
Right.
And then part 3 is a sequel. It takes place in the 70s. And then part 4 is the actual sequel. It takes place, I think, 10 years after the first film.
Oh.
Roughly.
Okay.
Roughly. And then there's part 5, which they don't call part 5, which is the
chosen ones or marked ones or something like that.
The marked ones.
Yeah.
And that's where they deviate from the rich upper class people and decide to go
in the hood,
lower class Hispanic. Yeah. And that just drops. So in the official part 5, they said, okay, let's go back to the rich white people because we can hate them more. And
did they make a part 6?
Well, part 5 is technically part 6, but no, they haven't done a part 6.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're planning on a part 6.
And wasn't the last one released in January as well? Like they've completely lost faith in the series. They didn't even release it at Halloween. They released it in January. I'm almost sure of it.
I can look it up.
I'll look it up right now.
That's the Ghost Dimension was the last one. And again, technically it's Paranormal Activity 5, but they don't even call it that because that would cause confusion because part 5 came out before it. And that was released.
Wait, hold on. There's only 5. What are you talking about? 6?
No, there's 6.
There is 6. Oh, the Ghost Dimension.
Ghost Dimension is 6.
Okay. So why were you saying that 5 was really 6?
No, I'm saying 6 is really 5.
Oh, because the sixth one goes back to the storyline.
Right.
Okay,
so
fine.
Well, no. But again, let's be clear. If you watch you haven't seen these, so you don't know.
No, I don't.
Part 5 ties into the other ones indirectly, so it is part of the series. It does link.
Okay.
It's not a separate story. It's intertwined, but they called this one Paranormal Activity 5 when it came out, kind of ignoring the marked ones.
Gotcha.
So
this
came out.
Paranormal Activity
October.
3
It's an October release.
came out in October. Paranormal Activity 4 came out in October. I believe it's the marked ones. I think that one came out in January. Yeah.
6 came out in October.
The 5th one, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones came out in January. That's how bad it was.
Well, but again, this is the weird thing. If you want to get into the whole film, it's the only one that doesn't take place in that again upper middle class pseudo rich thing. And Part 6 actually plays on that more. Like they even bring it up in the film. Yeah, and I think that's like a direct relation to Part 5. And you have to wonder, it brings like a kind of racist undertone into the movie-going audience. Like, okay, so how come all of a sudden the 5th one that didn't focus on upper class, pseudo-rich white people got a different title, wasn't included in the series, and was released in January?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So.
I'd have to go back and watch it, but as bad as it was, I don't think 5 is the worst in the series.
Isn't from what I understand, isn't the marked one supposed to be the worst one, or Part 4?
If you want to ask me personally, I think 4 and 6 are tied for the worst ones. I'd have to watch them.
No, 6 is the one that's tied back in. You mean 4 and 5?
I'm saying 4 and 6 are tied for being the worst one.
The Ghost Dimension?
The Ghost Dimension in Part 4 tie for being the worst one.
So
I don't think 5 was as bad as those two.
Oh, so the one in the hood was better than those two.
I'd have to rewatch again.
Okay. What I had and again, I haven't seen any of these other than the first one and now the second one.
I need to clarify.
But Part 4 came out when it came out when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 came out. And there's that whole scene where they have the Xbox Connect.
The dots, yeah.
And when I saw that in the trailer, I said that they've lost the franchise. I said they're doing silly, stupid shit now.
Now, in Part 2...
It was bad marketing to try and sell Xbox Connects. And I like me some Xbox.
When did Xbox One come out?
2013, November.
Okay, because I could have sworn I saw an Xbox One on the guy's mantelpiece in Poltergeist 2. I mean, in Paranormal Activity 2, excuse me.
At that time, it would have been a 360.
Okay, I could have sworn it looked like an Xbox One. It must have just been like a big DVD player.
It could have been a DVD player or a Blu-ray player.
Look, my massive 50-inch screen. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, massive 50. I go, 50, really?
It's like a 4-inch bevel.
It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. 50.
But again, like all that played into this kind of again, they really played on the hatred of this upper middle class, like with look, I got my big screen and here's my first man cave, and we have the pool and the saw. Like they just like doubled down on the whole thing with the first film. Was like, this day trader has this big house. What the fuck's going on here? It's like, oh yeah, great. So here's the fast food king, and he's like got all this stupid shit, and the pool thing they made a big deal about. It's really just there's supposed to be this undertone of hatred for these people just because, okay, you've got this big house and you can't decorate it. You got these lights. Who leaves their fucking pool lights on all fucking night?
Yeah.
Dude? What are you doing? And again, like, so your wife doesn't work. She stays at home all day, and you still have a fucking maid that cooks.
Well, you know what? This is it does take place during October of 2006 when the real estate market and the economy was booming and about to crash. Everyone was in complete excess. No one thought they could do any wrong. People were buying more than they should have. And then 2 years later, the economy and the real estate market is in the shitter.
And that's why I wonder, like, even with the sequel, like, there's a part of, from a filmmaking, from a screenwriter standpoint, there's a part of me that was like, okay, this has to be intentional. All right, but how intentional was it? Because of the time period, there's like a smidgen of doubt. And the weird, and again, I say it's the theme of the series, but if you look at it, they double down on it in the second one, and then they do it again in the third. But the third one, but the third one goes back to the 70s. That takes place back then. So, like the house and everything, and they don't really have that level with that film. Again, you haven't seen them. Then the fourth one, then the fourth one goes back to this kind of setup.
Right.
The fifth one goes to the hood, as you say, so whitely. Then the sixth one goes back again. So really, after the first film, they only do this whole nouveau riche McMansion assholes every other film. But so it's interesting that they do that, but I still think it's the foundation of the series, but I question why.
Yeah.
Except from the reason I say that is because a lot of it I feel like has to do with, again, the unintentional setting of the first film. I don't think it was fully intentional, but after the first film came out and that was what the audience read, what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
it's interesting from a film theory standpoint. I think it's interesting. I may just be belaboring a stupid point. I don't know. Should we talk about the actual plot of the film? I mean, there's not much to go with.
I mean, we can. There isn't. Well, I mean, as far as tying into the original movie, the plot.
The film takes place like 60 to 90 days before it's like roughly a couple months before the events of the first film.
Right, and they talk about in the first movie, they talk a little bit about. And it ties into the second one. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up.
Oh, no, yeah.
In the first film, Katie finds a picture, which is on the screen right now, actually. A picture of her, like standing in the driveway in front of the yard or whatever it is. And she finds it in the first film in the attic, and it's all burned. Okay? That's how she finds it. Now, in the second film, they show the picture being burned. So it ties in that happens kind of around exactly that time. But what they talk about in the first film very briefly is this little time period when she was a little girl, and then they elaborate on it in the second film, saying that in the second film, when these two girls were growing up, their mother was going through all this crazy shit in the house, and things like this, what is happening in this movie and in the first film, was happening when they were little girls, and then eventually it stopped. And they allude to the fact that their mother went crazy, committed suicide, died, went to an asylum. Something happened to their mother, and they said that, do you want to end up like mom? So stop doing this shit, stop talking about it, and just forget about it. So they talk about that. Because
the wife the wife in this film is sister with
Katie,
the girl Katie from the first film. Right. And she's married to this guy with a daughter from a former marriage from the man, from the husband. What's his name? You had me surfing around. So I'm on the wrong Paranormal Activity because you had me looking at different release dates and shit.
Yeah, the husband is Mike. His name is Mike.
Yeah,
which is lame because the first character in the first film was Mika and Mike.
They're really stretching the fucking.
What's happening, Mike?
Yeah, and again, like my whole point of just like hating these people and like this nouveau riche thing. My wife, on it 100%. Wait, so they got a coffee machine there and a coffee machine over there. It's like what's that big one? It's like I think it's probably an espresso machine. It's like it's huge. It's like with the wicker and then the African stuff. And like, how come? And like say, right, so they got lights on every part of the house, but then when there's a dark noise in the dark, they don't turn the light on. What the fuck? It's just like she's calling them. It's like, yeah, all this stuff's intentional.
I'm sorry, his name is not Mike. His name is Daniel or Dan.
Daniel?
Yeah.
It's
I was looking at a different person.
And then Hunter, they have a young son, Hunter.
Hunter, yeah, and that's just another like rich white. Let's name our kid Hunter name.
Oh yeah.
I listen.
My wife was half paying attention at a certain point. She looks up and sees Hunter on the door. It's like, what is that? The dog's name on the door? It's like, no, that's the kid. It's like, oh, really, Hunter? What? Chad was taken.
Connor. Yeah, we were going with Connor, and then we decided to go with Hunter instead. Troy. Yeah, we thought Troy was just a little too upper class. So.
A Trip.
Fuck. I wish he'd trip, hit his head, and fall in the pool.
His nickname's Stump.
That's right. So they talk about that as far as the second film, about what was going on in the house when they were growing up, and they just kind of build on that in this film a little bit, and then it gets to the point in the film later where the sister goes through an experience in the house with the poltergeist, and she becomes catatonic, very much like the sister in the first film. And it's like it kind of bookends, because where the sister, she goes through this catatonic phase where she's just kind of all fucked up. Then they do something in the film where she gets better, and then it moves directly onto the sister, where it bookends into the first film.
Right.
Because then the sister comes over, and because it says 3 weeks later, and the sister comes over, Katie, and she's like, hey, how are things going on here? Any more weird stuff? And the sister's like, no, everything's great. There's no more problems. Everything's just great. It's like no issues. And because then the sister says, yeah, it's like, I think there's some weird shit going on in my house. I even told Mika about it. And of course, if you get flashbacks of the first film, that's when he's a complete dick and doesn't believe her and thinks that, everything is her fault. Much like the husband in this movie. I told you not to leave the burner on. What the hell are you doing that for? You almost burned the house down. This and this and that. Talking about the pans. I like the one scene where he's talking about the pans. They're hanging from the ceiling or from the center island of the kitchen. And he's like, it fell twice, which means that you did it wrong twice. It's like, wow. It's like, you cunt.
Dude, honestly, it's like, I can. No offense, I just like flashed to you and Mary having the exact same argument.
Oh, stop.
And I saw myself off to the side. Hey, Joey, come on.
Give her a break.
Come on.
Are you telling me that I'm like one poltergeist away from a Paranormal Activity in my house?
Not at all. Okay, I just thought that was like the one part where it was like, hey, Joey.
Fuck you.
I said no offense right off the bat.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Well, I've been telling my son that. I go, Daniel, when you say no offense and then you say something offensive, it doesn't discount the offensive remark.
I'm not a racist, but
because he's been doing that a lot lately. He'll go to Sebastian. He goes, "No offense, Sebastian, but what you did there was dumb." It's like, Danny. It's like, Danny. Just because you said no offense doesn't mean you just didn't offend him. Because then he'll do it again later. You go, Sebastian, no offense, but that drawing that you made, that stinks. It's like, dude, what are you doing? So I had to pull him to the side. I go, just listen, dude. I go, when you say no offense and then you say something offensive, it's not going to go over so good. So maybe we should take it down a notch. He's been doing it more. He's been doing it more and more. So I've had to correct him, and he hasn't done it lately. So maybe it's sunk in. Because I told him, I go, you can't do that in school because if you do that to a teacher, it's going to be a problem.
If you do that, teacher, I'm getting a call, and I'm busy.
Yeah.
Come on, cut me a slack.
Yeah, because during a school year...
dude, that hurts. Yeah. It hurt me. It physically hurts me now.
During a school year, I'll get anywhere from 8 to 10 phone calls from the school. Just want to let you know, Danny, he...
Bit of a dick.
Yeah, they'll be like, he poked a girl in the arm, and he said that she wanted him to do it. I'm like, what?
But look at she's wearing. She was asking for it.
So then I come to find out that they were poking each other in the arm, and he just did it a little harder, and she started to cry. So it's just like, dude, she's a girl. It's like, just because she poked you really hard doesn't mean you can poke her back really hard. He goes, yeah, but she poked me really hard. I go, listen, one day you will understand what I'm telling you. So he's like, all right. And I'm like, jeez.
Is it time to have the life's not really fair speech yet?
Yeah, yeah.
You know all that stuff we talked about being fair? Yeah, that doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the real world, kid.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Now, so here's the thing I want to address with the sequel.
Okay.
And there's really not much. The plot is the same as the first film. There's really nothing to speak about.
They pretty much just rehashed a lot of the first movie.
Exactly.
With the jump scares, the doors slamming, the in your face kind of jump scares as well. Moving back and forth to normal footage, outdoors. It's really the same movie, slightly different.
Right. So what I want to touch on is, again, we were talking about the one thing Blair Witch kind of got away with because they were supposed to be filming a film, but then at a certain point, technology-wise, you got in this weird area of, okay, found footage, why are they filming this shit?
Constantly filming this stuff.
Right. So part 2 tries to get away with it by introducing home security.
Yeah.
Good idea. Again, My Evil Eye, or My Little Eye. My Little Eye. I think 2 Evil Eyes. I keep conflating those two.
That's okay.
It's an interesting idea. So they start off with the home videos because of the baby and stuff. It's feasible. Go into the demon. Burglars wrecked the house. Let's get security cameras. Feasible. There's 2 flaws. 3. I'm going to point out 3 parts of the film where that doesn't work. The first basic one, which you're probably already thinking, is that we have security cameras up, but the film tries to play this thing where we're only going to see certain things because we're switching back and forth like security cameras.
Right, yeah.
Right, like the baby's floating like up the side of the crib, flash to the front door where nothing's happening, flash back, now the kid's not in the crib anymore. That's great if we were on a security camera system where it's only flashing to one thing. We know that's not the case with the setup. They never show us the setup, so they don't have to show us that that's not the case, but we all know that's not how these things work. All those cameras are running all the time.
Yep.
So if you were editing together a film based on found footage, you show us everything that's fucking happening.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to do any fancy cuts or edits. There's a lot more footage to see.
Right, you wouldn't be cutting away to these certain things. So it kind of eliminates the idea of, this is just what was caught. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is what we're editing in the show. That's one notch against the suspension of disbelief. We're in a total agreement with that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
All right. And there's 2 specific parts. Again, they try to get away with the camera. All right, you have a teenage girl. She's going to be obsessed with using the camera, blah, blah, blah. You have the adults with the baby. They're going to be filming the baby. But there's there's 3 scenes where the camera comes into question. I'm going to go backwards of amusement.
Okay.
The last one, Holly pointed out, is when the 2 sisters are having a serious discussion. This is the part where she says, "You want to end up like your like mom?"
Right.
You can't obsess on this stuff. And then Holly's like, "Why is she videotaping this?"
Yeah, and
this is like a serious moment between 2 sisters about their like traumatized childhood. Why is she still fucking filming? And why hasn't the other person said, "Put down the fucking camera. This is serious."
Right. And the Katie refers to their mother as our mom instead of mom, which is kind of weird to me. It's like, mom, she was going crazy. It's like our mom. It's almost like 2 strangers talking about someone else's mom, and which in essence is happening in the scene because they're not related for real.
It's the screenwriter trying to remind the audience that they're sisters.
Yeah.
Because it's been established indirectly, but we have to make sure it's understood by those not paying attention.
But even with that, the chosen style saying our mom instead of mom.
I'm explaining.
I know what you mean.
I'm explaining why they did it, but I'm not defending it. You are correct. It's awkward and it doesn't work.
It really is awkward.
Yeah.
The way that scene kind of plays out, and you're right with the It's like they're talking. A lot of the film, there's a few scenes where it's like, why are you filming this at this moment? Yeah.
Can I mention the other two?
Sure, go ahead.
Number 2 on my list, upwards, is the girl outside Googling how her boyfriend wants to get laid. And like, oh, let's film each other reading off a website.
Right, yeah.
What the fuck's going on here? I mean, like certain parts of the teenage girl they did very well, where she's like, this is what happened to me just now. Kind of like a YouTube tell-all kind of thing.
Right.
And like a diary thing. That's great. And like her like running around like, bugging the maid with it. Hey, what were you doing back there with the whole cross thing? That works. That works for me. That scene with the boyfriend, like, oh, like the boyfriend's filming her, like, dude, it's daylight. You're not going to film her having sex. I don't know why you're playing with the fucking camera.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she's filming you read off the website. This is just fucking stupid. And number one.
Do
you want to beat me to this, or?
Let's see. Number 1. What would number 1 be?
Number 1 would be the really fucking creepy thing of the father continuing to have private conversations where he's videotaping his teenage daughter.
Oh, painting her nails. Yeah.
Painting her fucking nails and then turning off the light and doing like a Paris Hilton. Oh, look at the darkness thing. All right. How fucking just. I asked Holly, said, so you'd be cool if I took a video camera and went in Lilith's room at night while she's painting her nails and started harassing her, turning the lights off, right? And filming it, right? She's like, I'll stab you in the throat. It's like, thank you. That's my point. That's my point. And it's even worse because like Lilith is not my blood.
Right.
Relative.
This was his blood.
This is his actual daughter.
Yeah.
Because I even said, oh, it's a stepdaughter from a different marriage. She's like, no. That's his daughter and she's the one with
the
the
stepmom.
Like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, this is fucking worse.
Yeah.
This is far worse.
Yeah, and his wife is kind of close. Well, not close in age to his daughter. She plays like a 16-year-old, but in actuality, she's really like 24 years old. And
too close. Too close.
Yeah. And Dad there, he's got some gray show, and it's like, dude, you're like 40. Your wife's probably like 28. And your daughter is like only 10 years younger.
Everything about, and it's like I even had to fight it myself because I'm like, yeah, fuck this douchebag. It's like, dude, that's what the screenwriters want you to think. You're falling into the trap. It's like, dial it back, dude. There's some really good manipulation of the audience going on in this film, and you have to give the screenwriters and the directors credit for it. And like, it's like I said, it's like, those fucking sandals, dude. I guarantee they did that on purpose. Dial it back. Remain passive. Don't feed into it. Yeah. And again, Hollywood occasionally. Yeah. What's with the African art? Thank you, dear, for reminding me. This is a tableau, and that it's like, and they're purposely pulling this response from us. They want us to think he's a douchebag. That's the whole point of this. I get it now. Bring it back. Thanks for dialing me in. We're good. It's like, you had to remain objective. Yeah, and I find it. I was thinking about it, and it's interesting how different films throughout the years since this film, because technology has changed. Now that you have, say, like End of Watch, was it End of Watch with the police officer chest cameras?
Yeah,
and then you got the
End of Watch.
End of
that
Watch.
Was Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Right, Gyllenhaal and what's his name? Who's got his own TV show with alien invasions now on one of the cable channels.
Oh, does he? Is he the one? His partner was the dude in Ant-Man and the Wasp? He plays the comic relief.
Dude, I only saw Ant-Man once. You can't hold me to anything in that. He's been a lot of stuff because we actually saw the trailer for this Netflix. I think it's a Netflix TV show.
What, Titans?
But what?
Titans?
It's about an alien invasion, and he's having like these psychic flashes, like he knows what's going to happen. And it's the same Hispanic actor, and Holly's like, yeah, I recognize this guy. I said, I do too. He's been in everything. I can't name anything off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, that's Michael Pena. He was in Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's been in a bunch of stuff. When he was starting his acting career,
he's been in everything.
They were.
He's been typecast.
He's been typecast. Well, yeah, and gangbangers and shit like that. That's what he was typecast as.
He's like the young man's. He's like the poor man's Luis Guzman.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's probably accurate.
And I love me Luis Guzman.
Yeah.
When we wrote the screenplay about the bad musician, the bad comedian that hires the bad musician to be his rim shot guy. We wrote when I wrote the screenplay, Luis Guzman in my head was the sidekick to the bad comedian. he was like his lawyer. Luis Guzman's a great character actor.
Yeah.
You can't fucking beat him. One of the unsung heroes of cinema.
Yeah, it's yep, he's definitely been typecast as Hispanic. I mean, he is Hispanic, so it's easy.
He was in Crash. Wasn't he?
He
the father?
He was in Crash.
He was the father in Crash, the little girl.
Yes, the one where she said,
don't even say anything, because if anybody hasn't seen it, I think that's a good. Again, a lot of that film got a lot of shit for winning Oscars. That was a good fucking film.
It was a really good fucking film. I'm glad it won Best Picture that year. I didn't think it was going to. What was it up against that I thought was going to win, but it ended up.
I forget.
I thought something else was going to win.
All I gotta say is, like, for all the people that keep defending Magnolia, just doesn't hold a fucking candle to Crash. So no, I'm dead serious. Again, I liked parts of Magnolia. I'm not shitting on the film as a whole, but the response it got was totally undeserved. It was Boogie Nights backlash. Everybody was afraid to admit that this guy, had a swing and a miss after everybody loved him, which is the opposite of what happened to fucking M. Night Shyamalan.
Swing and a miss. The movies that Crash was up against that year was Brokeback Mountain, which I thought was going to end up winning Best Picture.
It was a good film.
It was a good film, but I thought it was going to win because Ang Lee. I thought he was due. I just really thought
Ang Lee was due.
Yeah, he's made some pretty good films.
He was due.
Yeah.
No. At that Scorsese's due. Leonardo DiCaprio's due. I mean, Ang Lee wasn't due. He was like,
listen,
he did a good job.
You can't throw Hulk in there as a reason why he wasn't due.
Oh, you really fucking can.
He was in over his head with that. That's that's nowhere near his wheelhouse.
I don't care. He did it.
Do I need to go over some Ang Lee movies to prove that he was due?
Please do.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do that now.
Go ahead.
Son of a bitch.
Let's air this now. Let's prove me wrong. I'll apologize if I'm incorrect.
Okay, let's see.
I've done it before. I'm out of tequila, so I'm drinking water now. So I don't know what the fuck's up with that.
So let's see. He did Sense and Sensibility. Oscars loved it. Oh, this is great. Amazing. Didn't get anything for it. Did The Ice Storm. Same thing. Oh man, great film. This and that. Fantastic. It's wonderful.
Ice Storm.
Doesn't win anything.
Hang on. I got to remind myself. I don't think I've seen The Ice Storm.
That's a good one.
I got to go back and watch that. Christina Ricci's in that, right?
And Woody Harrelson? Is Woody Harrelson in that one? Or am I thinking of a different film?
Sigourney Weaver, Tobey Maguire. I don't see Woody Harrelson in it.
All right, then maybe I'm thinking of a different film.
You're thinking of Money Train.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Then he goes and he does Ride with the Devil. Again, another film that's revered and all that. And nothing.
Ride with the Devil?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. What is that?
That one, let's see.
Tobey Maguire.
Civil
War film.
Skeet Ulrich. Oh my God.
I don't even remember this.
Skeet.
This was a film?
Yeah.
That's a war film. Fuck it.
Yeah, well. Then he goes and he does Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Overrated.
Still a great film.
Overrated.
Okay. So he does Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
You know what?
Then he does Hulk.
Hold on. Before you bypass Crouching Tiger, unlike you and I, that was like mainstream America's first introduction to like wire work Hong Kong fantasy cinema.
Yeah, and then they totally
for them they were like, oh, this is amazing. We're like seeing it. This is like a watered down version.
Yeah, and then because the success of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hollywood just jumps on it and just fucking goes ape shit. And wire work movies were like the thing for almost a decade. Yeah. And it's like, are we done with the wire work stuff? You're ruining it. you're just taking it. You're just doing it too much.
There's no such thing as too much wire work.
Yeah. And then he does Hulk, and Hollywood's like, ooh. And every audiences are like, ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Then he does Brokeback Mountain, and everyone's like, oh, he's back.
Mm-hmm.
So leading up until Brokeback, it was like he had made probably, I would say, at least 3 movies where Hollywood was just jerking off in a corner thinking it was the best thing ever.
I'll give you one of those out of the 3.
But what I'm getting at is after Brokeback, you know, they went crazy for Life of Pi and they nominated it, but they were never going to give it Best Picture.
Oh, no.
Wow, that movie's 6 years old already. Jesus Christ. I feel like we just reviewed that movie like a year or 2 ago.
You're right. I feel like I'm not even done watching it yet. What were the 5 films?
Okay, so it was Brokeback Mountain, Capote.
Oh, I still have Capote. Yeah, it's not Capote.
Capote. I did see Capote. I thought it was great, and
Truman. That's Truman Capote.
Truman Capote.
Yeah, just all right.
Yeah, I know that.
You were saying it like it was like a food dish or something.
Capote. I was joking when I said it. Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were. Well, it didn't come across. Sorry, my bad.
It's fine.
I apologize.
Capote, which I thought that Philip Seymour Hoffman did deserve that Oscar that year.
You know what? I still haven't seen it.
No, he's really good in it. Really,
it's on my
really
list.
It's
on my list. It's embarrassing too because like how old is that film?
It's got to be 10 years old.
I'll get around to it. How embarrassing is that?
Oh my God, it's older than that. It's 13 years old.
Oh, someday I'll watch it.
Munich. And Good Night and Good Luck, which was the other film that they thought might have won Best Picture over Brokeback Mountain.
That I did watch. I feel like it was overrated. I feel like one of the few it's one of those films that was like, ooh, it's in black and white. Shut the fuck up.
And that was written and directed. It wasn't a bad film.
I liked it.
Written and directed by George Clooney. Yeah.
Right. So that was like part of the attraction too. Is like, oh, George Clooney wrote and directed, and it's a serious film. And it wasn't bad. It was good.
No, it was good.
Was it? What did it deserve Best Picture?
No,
I really
don't think
so.
I was going. I think if I could go back and look at what I picked that year, I know I picked Brokeback Mountain. But I know I wanted Crash to win, so I was pleasantly surprised when it did.
I don't think I saw Crash until after the Oscars, to be honest. I don't remember.
Oh, are you sure? Because
I don't remember. I don't know.
Because did we watch the Oscars together? I think we were at my house.
Was that the first one that we did?
No, well, no, it wasn't for the show because it was in 2005 or 6.
Okay.
When the Oscars, we hadn't even done the podcast. We were like 3 years away from even doing this podcast. But
so, no.
we were going to each other's houses to watch the show, watch the Oscars. Right. And either I texted you or we were watching it together. I don't remember. I want to say I texted you about it. It was like, holy shit, Crash won. It's great. I'm happy.
I don't remember.
It was either that or an email. So.
But yeah. So with Paranormal Activity, where was I?
I don't know.
Oh, the camera stuff. Yeah, I say like throughout the years. I mean, GoPros, and then you have films like Nightlight. Where
the not the Nightlight, it's Night Vision.
Night Vision, where instead of like cameras, it was like you were looking through the flashlights. I still count it as found footage, even though it's not, because it's in the same spirit of that. You know, the whole idea of being a captured, frame.
Oh, right.
Like a shot, a controlled shot. The camera is a physical object in the scene. It's not free floating. Films like that going forward have tried to expand and work on that whole unfeasibility, or even that one. I forget the one I watched where the guy puts the camera in his fake eyeball.
Oh, it's a VHS viral.
No. There's a film after that with aliens. I talked about it briefly. It's a shitty ending.
Really?
But they got it. Yeah, and he does that and like it's supposed to be him. I don't know what the goal was on it, but it's supposed to be like a gag, but then aliens attack.
Huh.
Yeah, it's taken from it's obviously lifted from the VHS film, or at least the idea, the concept of it was.
Okay.
So like it's interesting unless you're dealing with filmmakers who end up getting caught up in a storyline, which goes back as far as Man Bites Dog, or one of the cannibal films back in the 70s. I forget which one. Most of them really had to do with filmmakers. You had this problem when you were dealing with non-filmmaker people. Why would they still be filming? So this film was like a perfect example of that in-between space where we're still trying to figure it out. The technology hasn't caught up yet. We got an angle, but it's not really believable.
Right.
When they go back to the 70s in part 3, which you should see, by going back to the 70s with limited technology, they solve a lot of the problems, including the whole idea, again, like in this one, where they're cutting from camera to camera, but we know that in reality, all of those cameras are recording nonstop, so they'd have all the footage. You go back to the 70s where the guy's hooking up like an old camcorder on top of a rotating, oscillating fan base to do a... And now you've eliminated technology, and in doing so have bypassed that problem. It's interesting. Really, you'll like the third one. I still say it's the best.
I'll have to check it out. My wife won't watch. My wife won't watch any of these.
As long as she doesn't watch Goodnight Mommy, you're fine.
I think she would have an easier time with Goodnight Mommy. She is just horrified of these Paranormal Activity movies.
You've seen Goodnight Mommy, right?
Oh yeah, we reviewed it. Of course, I saw it.
Yeah, dude, she's not getting. No, not until the kids are older.
I'm telling you.
No,
I'm telling you. I don't know.
No one that takes no one in Mare's defense. No, I mean, opposite of Mare's defense. Just look. No one that takes Dirty Dancing that seriously is gonna handle Goodnight Mommy until the kids are older than that. Not a knock against her. Please don't make this mistake. You're gonna lose a lot of fucking sleep.
Well, I'll tell you what. If she wants to watch it, how am I going to stop her from watching it?
I'm just warning you ahead of time. If she does, you're going to be dealing with repercussions because that film's going to fucking scar her.
We did watch. We watched A Quiet Place last night.
I still haven't seen that. I have it.
It is a great fucking movie.
Really?
And John Krasinski, who's the lead actor in the film, he wrote and directed it. He's the guy from The American Office. He plays the love interest for Pam.
Okay.
He's also the new Jack Ryan. And he's been acting in stuff since The Office is done, but he made a really good movie, and it's interesting that him and Jordan Peele, these two comedic actors, have made two of the best horror / thriller / even drama in a lot of spots type movies of 2018.
Now, it's going to sound ignorant.
Or
refresh my memory.
2017 and 2018.
The guy that made the Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
What is he as far as a comedic actor?
He's been, well, he's not a stand-up comic, but he's been in shows and movies that were funny.
Give me something where I recognize who we're talking about.
He's in The Office, the American version of The Office.
Who is he in that?
He plays Jim in The American Office.
I don't watch it, so the name doesn't help me. He's the lead character?
He's one of the lead characters. Here.
Is he the blonde, goofy one, or is he like the romantic interest?
He's the romantic interest.
That guy. All right, now I know what you're talking about. All right, good. I'm clear now. Thanks.
What else has he been in that you would
Don't
recognize? I know he was in. He's in the new Jack Ryan. He was in the Michael Bay film. What was it? 13 Soldiers or something like that.
Oh, that's the horse people.
No.
The horse riders.
No.
What?
No. The horse riders. No.
Okay.
He's
sure?
Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, which I believe is a Netflix series.
I saw commercials.
I'm sorry, 13 Hours, not 13 Soldiers.
Oh, 13 Hours. That's the Benghazi thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The 12. It's the 12 Horsemen or whatever. That's the one I'm thinking of. The one that came out this past summer.
Yeah.
Or the Iraqi horse military whatever war films. I don't care.
Yeah, he was in Leatherheads with George Clooney. He played one of the football guys.
Yeah, you know what? I never saw that.
I haven't either, but it looks funny.
I just football. It's the reason I never really watched that baseball film.
Oh, right, yeah.
Bill Durham. Bull Durham.
Yeah, with Kevin Costner and Tim Robbins.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's like, yeah, it's baseball. Susan Sarandon is a romantic, as a sexy romantic character. I'm not in. I honestly, I don't like talking like this, but I to this day I still don't understand Susan Sarandon as a sexy actress. Whenever she plays like a sexually attractive character, I don't get it. I'm not saying she's ugly.
No,
saying,
she's not unattractive, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think it goes all the way back to Rocky Horror, and that's just where it comes from.
I like her in that. I'm not saying she's unattractive. I'm not saying, but when you're like, oh, and this is the female that everybody's going after, it's like, yeah, I don't see it.
But he's been in funny things, like a lot of romantic comedies, like not for your consideration, The Holiday. He was in License to Wed.
I'd be surprised if I saw any of these romantic comedies.
No. Dreamgirls. So it's complicated. Something Borrowed.
No.
Nobody Walks. Big Miracle. Promised Land.
No.
So it's like romantic comedy type stuff. He's now doing more serious stuff, and he's now writing and directing, and he does a film like A Quiet Place. You know for a fact that they're just tripping over themselves to give him his next project.
Cool. And you know what? Minimalist dialogue, very hard to do.
Dude, insanely hard to do, and fucking nails it. You think it would be boring that the film is practically a silent film, but there is enough ambient noise, and the way it's done with the silence it's really done flawlessly. It's really done well. I haven't heard
anything. Yeah, it's on my list. I've got it. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I do want to watch that. And I want to watch it at night with all the lights off and really immerse into it. And
get your sound going and watch it. Watch it with as little light as possible.
Dude, I got the surround set up. The last time Holly was away for a couple days.
Your sound bar taken care of?
Yeah, that's been taken care of. And the great room has this surround sound hardwired into the walls. Nice. So I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I'm home alone, and I'm like, all right, I want to put something on where I can just like crank up the music, crank up the volume, and just really enjoy a scene from the film. Guess which film I put on?
Well,
this is almost a cinematic confession.
Oh,
almost.
You did. Okay, this isn't a surprise because you actually admitted to this last week.
Did I?
Yeah, you put on Battleship.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, with
we want to borrow your battleship. Then hit
AC/DC's Razor's Edge song from Razor's Edge. What the hell? Thunderstruck.
Yeah, it's like I could play the last 20 minutes of that film over and over again. I'm sorry, it's a shitty film. It's a god awful. Yeah. We reviewed it. It's a fucking horrible movie.
You're gonna die,
dude.
I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die, but not today.
Do the burrito for me, dude.
Burrito her. I can get you your burrito.
Again? You gotta do it twice. You gotta do the higher pitch in the second one.
Burrito her.
There you go.
God, how'd you get me to do Taylor Kitsch? I don't do that anymore.
I know, but you do it. I usually do that from my phone, for my text message alert. Burrito her.
Come on, man. Give me 5 minutes. I will get you that burrito.
The first item on the list is beans. Sean Philip Hines Esquire said it best. That guy's just fucking cursed. Like every big budget film he gets into, and they fucking flop.
Well, I said that. I didn't know Sean said it too.
I've
said it on this show. That
he posted on Facebook like before we even reviewed Battleship.
Yeah,
I think
because he's been cursed all the way back from John from Mars.
Well, Battleship was before that, wasn't it?
No, it was after.
Was it?
Yeah, dude. If you look at Taylor Kitsch's,
but he did like I think didn't he do Savages too, and that didn't do well.
That wasn't going to do well.
Yeah, but
it just wasn't going to do well.
No, obviously.
But let's see, Taylor Kitsch. He was in Snakes on a Plane. That's right. But they were giving him these like $200-300 million movies, and he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was terrible. Well, not terrible, but it wasn't good, and it didn't make the money that it was supposed to make. But he was in Friday Night Lights. That was where he became famous. So then they give him John Carter from Mars. And it's like a $300+ million film.
And I liked a lot more than I thought it was.
Yes.
We reviewed that on the show, too. And I remember I was like, dude, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but, you know.
Yeah. So that comes out in 2012. Bombs. For a $300+ million film, absolutely bombs. Then, Battleship, also in 2012. Another movie that's $250 million. Bombs.
Here's my big problem with John Carter, the movie John Carter. Yeah. The rationale behind not calling it John Carter for Mars was, well, this is his origin story, so he's not John Carter for Mars yet. He's just John Carter. The reasoning, the real reason behind that was, we call this John Carter so we can call the sequel John Carter from Mars. Bad move.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
the name change would have had the film make more money, but it's still a bad move.
Honestly, I think it would have helped a little bit because it would have set the tone. Because just calling the film John Carter, but if you call it John Carter of Mars, then at least going into the title what this is about.
Now, wasn't that a last minute name change? Wasn't all the promotional stuff, posters and advertising, wasn't up until a certain point John Carter from Mars or John Carter of Mars?
I don't know, because my brain automatically fills in of Mars, so I can't trust my recollection of that. I hear Joey typing.
Yeah, because John Carter, John Carter of Mars. I want to just look up some images because I could swear that they had some posters that had that. Yeah, here we go. John Carter of Mars. The story that inspired 100 years of film.
Dude, I got sidetracked because I had IMDb open on my screen. So Dolph Lundgren, Patrick Wilson, and Willem Dafoe are in the Aquaman movie?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think of that.
You know what trailer I saw and I fucking loved?
What?
Shazam. Have you seen the
trailers
Have you seen the Shazam trailer yet?
I'm behind on trailers. I need to spend like an hour watching trailers on YouTube.
It looks like it. You remember when Guardians of the Galaxy trailer came out and you watch it and you're like, shit, that looks like it's just going to be a fun fucking movie? That's what Shazam looks like. It looks like it's going to be a fun movie.
Can we touch very briefly on the whole James Gunn thing that just happened?
We can. It's related. Where are we with the show? Well, we're almost an hour and a half in. So we got to wrap up. No, we could talk James Gunn and then we can end the show.
Well, let's just mention briefly. I think it's bullshit, but on the other hand, you're dealing with Disney, so don't be surprised if you have one skeleton in the closet, they're going to drop you like a hot rock.
The problem is, James Gunn is directing the fuck out of those Guardians films. To bring someone new in, financially, even if they follow the formula, they might not. Here's the thing. The audiences are pricks, okay?
Yeah.
Critics are pricks. Because what they're going to do is they're going to compare the third Guardians film to the first and the second film. The first film was excellent. The second film was very good. Not as good as the first, but still very good. They're going to look at that third film, and they're probably going to pan it. And they're going to do it for two reasons. They're going to do it, one, James Gunn didn't direct it. And they're going to say, well, if James Gunn did direct it, all of this would have been done better. Yeah. And two, it's going to be an easy one to pan because James Gunn was fired and there's a new director and there's a new screenwriter. It's just going to be an easy movie. So, you know, unless they get like a Joss Whedon to come in and direct it, which I don't even think he's available, they probably are going to shit all over the third film, or they're going to say the weakest of the three. I'm predicting it now.
Hey, you know, let's put it this way. James Gunn has proven himself. He's not going to have any trouble finding work.
No, but I don't think he's going to be...
He doesn't lose.
No,
It sucks for him.
I think it's gonna. I think no one's going to touch him as a director for probably a year.
Yeah, they will.
No. I don't think so. I don't think he's working on his next project for at least a year.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they will. Because there's a difference between Disney having to kowtow to every fucking idiot that says, "Oh, look, he had a tweet from 10 years ago where he made a joke about pedophilia, and ooh, isn't that bad?" It's Disney. Disney has like this higher standard that they have to supposedly stand up to, and they're always gonna end up fucking shooting themselves in the foot.
Did you see that Patton Oswalt posted? He tweeted about it, and the guy that actually ended up getting James Gunn fired, I don't even remember what his name is.
He's some conservative cockknocker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Patton Oswalt retweeted one of his tweets, and Patton Oswalt said, "Listen, this is like the least gross tweet that this guy has ever tweeted," and he talked about how rape, how date rape isn't really rape, or something along those lines. The
conservative guy.
Yes.
Oh no, yeah, he's complete. It's yeah. We can. That's a whole political thing we get into. How like they're these right wing monsters, and again, not right wing people are monsters, but these individual monsters who are on the right are just they cherry pick a couple of tweets from from comedians, because they were like edgy comedy, and say, "Oh look, he's pro pedophilia." It's like, dude, first of all, you have no sense of humor. You don't get it. 2, yeah, it was edgy humor. 3, it was 20 years ago, like 15 years ago, when he apologized for it because now he's an adult.
Yeah.
And it's just it's ludicrous on the nth degree. But what I really just feel like is that Disney's not going to lose no matter what happens.
No,
they could have not fired him, and they would have been fine.
Guardians 3 is going to make a shit ton of money no matter who writes and directs it.
Well, no, but here's my point. Disney's not going to lose. James Gunn, long term, is not going to lose because he's proven himself, and this is not going to blacklist. This isn't like C.K. Lewis, like, oh yeah, sexual assault stuff. His career's not over. James Gunn is going to be fine.
You mean Louis C.K.?
Yeah, same guy, same thing.
Sure, sure it is.
Shut up.
I'm thinking. I'm like, C.K. Lewis. Is this like some actor or comedian that I don't know?
He's the guy who wrote The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, right?
Yeah, that guy.
I got C.S. Lewis. I got my mind spinning.
It's fine. It's fine.
My point is that the only people that are losing because of this whole bullshit is the people that just want to see the good film.
Oh yeah.
And whoever like you said, whoever they bring in, it's not going to be the same, and it's just going to suck.
Yeah.
Because of that. Unless
they follow the exact same formula, which James Gunn, he follows his formula, but it's his style. So even if it's if it's similar formula, it works. The first film and the second film are different enough, even though he follows the same formula, that you get an enjoyable second film.
Dude, he did Slither. He had me at Slither.
Man, that's fucked up.
I love that fucking
that's
movie.
A great.
That's
a great movie.
That is one of like the best post 80s horror films. Period.
Yeah.
It was a throwback to like the 80s horror films. Really, if you just, there's like a handful of films in like 2000 on, and that was in 2000, right? I'm not.
That's some fucked up shit right there.
Slither is 2006. Yes, yep. Post 2000. It's one of a handful of post 2000 films that capture the true spirit and just like just fun of 80s horror cinema. And it's a fucking perfect film.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you that nobody on set Nobody in the production area, like nobody wants. Even Disney doesn't want James Gunn fired, but they did it because they had to.
They didn't even. No, they didn't have to.
No, because enough attention was brought to it that they would catch some shit if they didn't. And even for Disney would rather fire him than to even have the smallest possibility of catching shit.
The problem with Disney is that there are parents to 5-year-olds out there who need to be fucking slapped.
Well, yeah.
And that's all it comes down to. The problem is that Disney still has to answer to these insane parents groups, like the people that before we finish, I know we're running late.
Yep.
Since we're talking about these insane parents groups for Paranormal Activity 2, we have to go to the where is it? What user ratings?
Parents Guide.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the Parents Guide. It's not under more.
Oh, really?
Parents Guide. It's under plot keywords. It's under storyline. I don't know why it's there.
Oh.
Sex and nudity. There's like 8 entries here. There's no fucking sex and nudity. Kristi and Daniel hug and kiss in a few scenes.
Ugh.
Allie wears a bikini that reveals cleavage and her bare abdomen while swimming.
I fucking hate everyone.
These are the people that got James Gunn fired.
Fuck.
These people are the reason James Gunn fired. Not because of the tweet, not because of this asshole, because of these fucking psychos that feel the need to point out that you can see her belly button. You can see her navel. This is, be warned, parents.
Yeah. It actually says, which reveal cleavage, bare shoulders. Bare shoulders. Like, why the fuck would you care about seeing someone's shoulders? And backs.
Kristi tells Allie she should be careful with her boyfriend and refers to him as touchy, handsy. Violence and gore, severe. Really? Daniel's neck is snapped. We hear, okay, well, you know what? I've read that there's an alternate ending where she snaps the baby's neck in the crib.
Oh God, really?
And I want to see that ending.
Well, there are some scenes that because the slideshow is going. There are some slides that are that I have that aren't in the movie.
Oh yeah,
like there's one slide is of her and the baby walking out the door together, hand in hand, and that's not in the movie.
Under violence and gore, Daniel moves through a completely dark house, bumping into things and cursing. Well, that's like every night at my house. What the fuck are you talking about? How is that violent? We
hear Hunter cry in several scenes.
A large piece of furniture is thrown. People. This is what happens when you don't have any scope.
Yeah.
When there's just like no, wow. Oh, all right. Again, violence and gore is the category. A door swings open by itself. That is neither violent nor gory.
No. Nope.
This whole section is ridiculously long. We hear odd noises coming from the baby monitor. Again, that's neither violent nor gory. Hunter wakes up screaming in several scenes. A baby woke up screaming. Holy shit. Daniel yells at Allie. Well, all right. Well, domestic violence maybe, but he didn't call her any bad words or anything.
We read that Mika was killed.
This one. We understand that Allie's mother has died. So if your child can actually understand death, you may not.
Daniel says that he cannot get Kristi out of bed, and something is wrong with her.
Oh, here we go. Profanity. About 22 F words. They lost count. 10 sexual references. I guess touchy, handsy falls in there. 10 scatological terms. Too mild. I think it's what he calls the turd an enchilada. One anatomical term. I'm assuming that's pussy.
Yeah.
One mild obscenities. Why is it plural?
Yeah.
9 religious exclamations.
Name calling. There's a section for name calling. Weird, insane, tool, and creepy.
Okay, so in all of these things, no one... Sex and nudity. You know what I'm not seeing in sex and nudity?
What's that?
Father videotapes his older daughter doing her nails in the dark. How come the one part that creeped me out they're okay with?
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. We see it.
That's a father's. That's a father's right, really, to videotape his daughter, teenage daughter.
You know what's even creepier than that? These father-daughter promise rings, where they have like the promise dances, where it's like she promises not to have sex until she's married.
Right. So that's why they're okay with the father videotaping his daughter doing her nails in the dark in her bedroom.
Fucking creepy.
Yeah. No, that's where there's. Yeah.
We see a carton. This is for alcohol, drugs, and smoking. We see a carton with a beer logo on it.
No. Cartoon with
a
beer logo on it.
Cartoon.
Yeah.
Daniel holds a beer bottle. We do not see him drink from it. So how do you know it's not just a bottle of root beer?
I guess they could have seen the label.
Maybe
I don't know.
They saw the label. Allie tells her stepmother not to get too wasted. Phoy. Are we done? I want to stop reading this shit because I'm getting more and more aggravated.
Loud and unexpected bangs and noises throughout the movie. Or the dryer could just be on the tilt.
Could be.
Oh, they reference Blair Witch in this.
Where? Oh, there it is. I see it.
Yeah, Daniel tries to get the spirit out of Kristi by putting a wooden cross with oil on her, but when he does, she snaps at him when the lights turn out. She then disappears, and so does the baby. He goes downstairs to the basement with the camera, and it's a Blair Witch basement-like scene, except the characters survive. Spoiler alert.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck you, people. I hope your kid becomes a goth.
Well, maybe.
And honestly, I don't think that's that bad of a thing.
No, it's fine.
And to get in touch with their inner self, I think it's okay.
All right, let's end this shit. I'm done.
What do you want to rate this?
Oh God, and I have to give you your movie challenge.
Quickly.
What do we got here? This film currently sits. I think it sits a little high.
5.7.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like over 6. Much like last week, I can go 5 on this. I think it's average.
Well, last week I thought we went 6, didn't we?
We did not go 6 for My Little Eye.
I'll be out in a minute. Okay. My wife says hello, Joey.
Hello.
And she's having trouble getting the app. The app's fine on my phone. She got a new phone, so it's her problem. I don't know what her problem.
The app seems to be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to double check it on the site. Oh. That she's telling me to tell you. I'm the one that deals with the app, so I don't know what you know.
I know. I designed a lot of the app.
Rightfully, she assumes you're doing everything, which is 95% true. So yes. I can't fault her for that.
No, we gave My Little Eye a 5. We gave it an average score.
I wasn't comfortable giving it a 4 just because I thought it did break a little bit of ground, even though it did. It was like 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing.
I think this isn't as bad as a 4 would give it. I wouldn't go lower than a 4. I'll tell you that much.
Honestly, I agree with you because I think there's further episodes. Again, when you compare it to the entire series, it's like like the first one, I wouldn't give a 5. I would give a 6 I would give a 6. I think I don't think I'm comfortable giving the first one a 7. I forget what we gave it.
I couldn't give it a 7.
Yeah, but I think I'm with you. I would have to go 5 on this one because future entries into this series definitely are a 4 or a 3.
Okay.
So all right, we'll go 5.
5 is good.
Let me sign in. I'm already fucking signed in. Fuck you.
How are my kids still awake? They should be in bed like an hour ago.
Yeah, they don't. That's not what they do. That's not how it works. You know that, right?
Jesus Christ! I hear my wife yelling at them. So obviously they should have been in bed a while ago.
Uh-oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up then.
All right. Well, I got to give you your movie challenge.
Oh yeah.
So the connection is Martine, okay? And
the actress or character?
The character. Because as I'm watching the movie, I'm only thinking one thing, and it's the Spanish lady from a movie, okay? And she has one scene, and it lasts like 20, 30 seconds, and that's it. And that's the only connection.
Oh.
Okay, so she's on a street corner. Okay, the characters in the film are walking towards this street corner. And she's on the street corner. She's holding a basket full of flowers. And she...
Oh, no. Quick change.
It is quick change.
Really?
And she's saying, Los flores, los méritos, los méritos, méritos. And,
man.
And Randy Quaid is like, man, he's all fucked up at that point. He's like, what does that mean? And Bill Murray's like, I don't know. He goes, that street corner must be real tough. She must have fought for that street corner. And Gina Davis is like, you know what that means. It means flowers for the dead. And I'm just thinking, this woman reminds me of Martine, but like just a little bit more. Just a little, like, this is Martine after Paranormal Activity 2. Selling the flowers on a corner. Los Muertos. So it's one of those films that I think is not going to be easy to review because we both love the movie, but it's the only thing I was thinking whenever Martine was on the screen.
I'm actually interested in doing this because I've read the book the film's based on too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and he's actually it's Jay Cronley, I want to say. And he also wrote the book that Let It Ride was based on, another film that we both like.
I fucking love Let It Ride. I was just thinking yesterday that how is there no Blu-ray of that film yet? How do I only own a DVD? How is that possible?
So it'll be interesting for us to do. I'll have to go back through the book and find a couple of highlights because I like doing reviews where we compare the literary origins to the literary adaptation. I'm a fan of that myself, being a literary.
And if I have time, maybe I'll pull some clips. I'll pull some clips from Quick Change.
Cool, and I'll definitely help you with the slideshow on this one.
If you want.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like the last two films we've done is like, yeah, whatever. Just pull some slides. This is like, there's nothing really interesting in this film. Quick Change has interesting. Visuals.
Well, you have until the day we record, next Thursday. That's when I actually create the slideshow is Thursday. So I get all the slides together and then I make them Thursday, probably, I don't know, in the morning before we actually do the show in the evening. So so anyway, all right, let's end the show. Let's do this. Again, thank you, as always, for joining us here at Moviesucktastic. Live every Thursday at 8 o'clock. We are back on track with live streaming. We are now streaming from YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/Moviesucktastic, you will go right to our page, and you could you could watch the live stream there, or you can go directly to our website, because that is now on our website, the YouTube page. You can watch the stream live there as well. You can listen to the show there, or you can download the show and listen to it later. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. You can see what we post, everything that interests us, from trailers to when we go live to just anything entertainment related goes to the Facebook. You can go to iTunes and you can download the show or listen to it right there as well. You can go and give us email. You can send us email, and the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you'd rather leave us voicemail, we will play that on the show if you do. That number is 908-514-4470. You can download the free Android app for your Android device, phone, tablet, whatever you're using Android-wise. And you can pretty much get everything I just said in the palm of your hand or in your tablet. That's how I listen to the show in my car. I use my Bluetooth feature. It's awesome. I listened to one of our podcasts today that way. It was fantastic. It's really easy, and it's 100% free. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
No.
No.
What have I got from Paranormal Activity?
Don't be a dick to your wife.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, your pool cleaner is not jumping out of the water by itself, dick.
And Mika deserved the die.
Oh, jeez.
What? Too soon?
No, it's just the right time.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you later. That's not supposed to be on the screen. Everyone's looking at... Here, I'll put it back. Yeah, that's my soundboard. You're not supposed to see it.
Don't break the fourth wall.
Yeah, it's broken. It's totally broken. Oh, there's Katie's cleavage. There you go.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice it.
I don't know how. Anyway, we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.